Lions are making some really good moves. They just got the quarterback that took the LA Rams to the playoffs, right? Didn't the LA Rams go to the playoffs last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the LA Rams now have Matt Stafford, our former quarterback, and we have your former quarterback. So
So we did a flip flop there.
yeah, we did.
All right. Okay, we are live. We are live on podbrothernation.com. Thank you for being patient and hanging out with us. I'm the Podbrother. I am here at the Podbrother Nation Studios, which is located in Dream Magic Studios in Canoga Park. And today I have with me my man all the way from the Motor City, Motown.
Motown.
I got Sumeet. Dang, how you doing, my brother?
What's up? What's up? What's up, my man? I'm doing fantastic.
Yes, you are, because you are now on the Pod Brother Show, and you can check that off your bucket list.
You know, it was something I always dreamed of. So, cha-ching.
So now you are good to go.
Hey, you know, just
You got
one
bragging
day at a
rights
time.
now. You know.
We're making moves one day at a time. You know.
So, what brought you out to California? Let's jump right straight into that, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. But what brought you out here?
Yeah, dude, I love acting. I got bit by the acting bug when I was in university, not knowing what the fuck I wanted to do with my life, and then I kind of fell off course and was working in advertising, and I hated my life yet again. And I said, "Fuck it, man! I'm just gonna pack my car up, quit this goddamn job, and move across the country." And I did exactly that in what it was like a week-long road trip, no, like 2 weeks. Drove
You
across the
took your
country.
time.
I took my time. You know how people usually like fly over here? They're like, man, I do not want to be on the road. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna get this in 14 hours, one and done.
I love the road, man. I
love
took
the
my
road
time
too.
coming out too, because
Yeah.
I wanted to experience, the whole like America,
Right?
in real time.
And there's so much beauty in this country.
There's so much going on here.
Yeah,
I
man.
think I think high schoolers should have to stamp 7 states in their high school diploma before they graduate. You can't graduate unless you experience 7 U.S. states in real time, firsthand, hand
Well,
in hand.
I don't know about high school because that's a little bit too young to experience all the fun things that you get to do. Maybe university, like before you get your
Mm,
university degree, check
no,
off like
no,
seven
it has to
states.
be high school because not everybody gets to go to university. Not everybody has the
That is
money or
true.
the smarts or the GPA or the grades. But in
That's
high
true.
school, I think if every high schooler was in touch with every type of American, then there'd be a lot more tolerance with, people that are different from you.
That is definitely very true, especially Middle America, man. Like if Middle America just went out to the edges of the country more, then
Yeah,
I think we'd be a more homogenized
yeah,
country.
absolutely. Because they're very isolated,
Yeah,
and they're born, grow up, and die isolated because they don't travel. They
like
don't
a
go
lot of
anywhere.
them don't even really see like communities of color. Like, like one thing I loved about growing up in Detroit, it was such a diverse town, man. You got your Arabs, you got a ton of Indians just randomly there. You got a ton of like Jews, you got a ton of like black people, you got a ton of everything, man. It's just like all just this one
It's all
beautiful
there. It's like a
community.
diverse melting pot of everybody.
It really
So
is.
it kind of teaches you by default to have tolerance and to be more open
And
to people
empathy.
who are empathy, yeah,
Yeah.
that are different from you, which is, I mean, that's what I loved about New York. That's another thing. I think everybody should live in New York at least a month before you graduate. Okay, here's the states you got to hit. You got to hit L.A.,
Oh yeah.
the far west, to get
Number
that
one.
culture. You got to hit New York, the far east, to get that culture. You got to go way up to Minnesota, and then you got to go down to like Alabama,
Texas.
and then hit Texas in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you got to hit a Midwest state like Indiana or Ohio.
Man,
Eh,
Indiana, like, it's empty out there. Gary's a weird place, man. Stay away from Gary.
Yeah, yeah, if you experience it, like if New Yorkers and LA kids experienced Indiana, then they would get it. I think that
That is true, though, man. That
you
is true.
know, what I mean? It's like, and vice versa. If you get the Indiana kids going to New York and LA, then they'll get it. It's
They
like
will.
they'll
They
get each
will.
other. And because you're young,
you're more susceptible to
You're
like
more
learning.
susceptible, more open to
Yeah,
learning, and that experience will embed in your life for the rest of your life. Because for the rest of your life, what experiences are you recalling? All your high school years.
for the most part. I mean, for me, my formative years, even though like university was a lot like, I'm sorry, high school was a lot like, just my early 20s. I learned so much about life. Like I literally transformed in my early 20s from like the period of 18 to 27. I transformed to a completely different person. Like in high school, I was a shy turtle in a shell. In
Yeah.
in my 20s, like university, but I learned to like what it meant to live and to be a person. So those were big years for me.
Actually, my whole 20s was an experience for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I moved out here when I was 27. So like even now, like I've been out here for 7 years. Between 28 when I moved, 27 when I moved out here to now, I'm a completely different person. Ask my friends; they barely recognize me from back in Michigan.
So you came out here to do film, right?
I did, yeah, acting
And,
at first.
acting at first, and then now you've by default rolled into like producing, directing.
Producing, executive producing as of right now. I at some point I'm sure I'll be writing and directing, but just ever so stepping into filmmaking more and more.
Right on.
Yeah, it's
So,
a fun journey.
so what do you think of my studio? I gave you a chance to kind of see what we do here, and being an executive producer and wearing a bunch of hats.
Yeah,
What do you think of my studio here?
dude, Dream Magic Studio is beautiful. This honestly, I walked inside and I was like, wow, this is gorgeous, man.
I know
Like,
it's unassuming outside, right?
it's so
Outside is just
unassuming outside.
it's a big gray box.
Yeah, and then
And
you
then
walk
you
inside
walk
and
in.
marble tiles and like shiny silver, like just it's really pretty, really beautiful, man. I was very very impressed. You got a gorgeous infinity soundstage. It's massive. You've got a really really beautiful ADR, like just a soundproof room. You've got some really awesome lounges and some awesome conference spaces. You've got a really awesome podcast booth too, man. That podcast booth, whew, that is sexy.
Isn't it cool?
It's so sexy, man. Then you
I-
got a just piano laying out there in the middle, like if anybody has some piano vibes, just come jam out. You know?
Right? Yeah, I wanted to do the podcast out there, but it would take me like 3 hours to set it up. So next time you come, we'll do it. We'll do it in a podcast studio.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the projects that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I've got a feature film that I just wrapped on production on. I executive produced that and also was a lead actor in. It's called Unmasked. I believe I can say it at this point. Yeah, it's called Unmasked. It's
Is it covert inspired story?
it kind of is. Yeah, well, it takes place in COVID times. So it's essentially it's a multi-genre of sort, but it's predominantly a thriller horror. Essentially, it starts out with one of our characters getting kicked out of his apartment in the middle of COVID times, and he's a doctor, and he goes over to his cousin's house, and his cousin just brought him in, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, bro. We got you. We'll keep you safe. But in the meantime, we're gonna have a crazy party tonight." And it just happens to be Halloween Eve during COVID times, and they have a crazy party. It's a blast, and then they wake up in the following morning to find one of the friends dead in the bathroom, choked, and they go on this big journey to find out who the killer is, pointing fingers at each other, sometimes getting in knife fights with each other, and yeah, it's a really fun story that'll keep you guessing throughout.
Nice. Why knife fights?
Because knife fights are cool. I mean, it's better than a gun, Come on.
Right, yeah.
Why would you go around shooting people when you
Right.
can just like get more intimate with a knife, have all that blood on you, Like,
Yeah. Plus, there's a lot more fear in a fight knowing that you could get cut or stabbed than
Right.
shot.
right? Yeah.
Because someone pulls out a gun, there's fear, but it's not the same fear as when someone pulls out a knife.
Hey, I'm of the opinion that we should ban guns and bring back swords and knives and arrows. Actually, no,
Right.
just ban all projectile weapons and just bring
Right.
back swords and
Oh.
that was more. gonna kill somebody, then at least you have to put in that second thought of like, fuck, I'm gonna get bloody as hell.
Exactly. It's like you're not so quick to want to like follow up on it unless you really got indebted.
Exactly. Like, shooting a projectile weapon or a gun is just like, it's really impersonal. It's really just like, it's at a distance, and then like I don't have to feel this.
It's almost an insult.
It is like it's an insult to the death. Like, dude, just the romanticism of the old wars of like the Roman times and like back in ancient India when people were getting in these crazy battles. Like it's dope, At least that's what we see on movies.
Right. It's not like we're trying to fantasize about it or anything.
No. I mean, maybe sometimes, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I do have a knife fight planned for us after the podcast. So.
Oh, shit. I have my staff in the car.
What do I got? I've got like I've got an XLR adapter.
An XLR adapter. I mean, you could turn those into some nunchucks if you wanted. 2 XLR adapters.
You know what I learned from a biker when I was doing comedy at a biker bar is handkerchiefs with a lock in it is a great weapon.
A handkerchief with a lock in it. Yeah, that would hurt, man.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
And you can not you can disable because you're not expecting it. It's like, why is this dude pulling a handkerchief out of his pocket and what's he gonna do with that?
And it just like whips
and
you.
And you
right
don't realize it, and because it's the weight of the lock and there's the whip action of it. And you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
You clock, and it's painful enough to diffuse your will to fight.
Wait,
because you don't know what happened.
Have you been hit by a lock with a handkerchief?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I also have hit someone with a lock and a handkerchief. And
don't ever hit me with a lock and a handkerchief. It doesn't sound fun.
It is not. That's why I'm talking from experience. Like, you don't want to fight anymore. It's like the ambition or whatever, the bet you lost that made you think you wanted to fight goes out the window the second that lock kinks on you.
You know what I'm imagining now, just because like I've got a terrible mind, is just like somebody bringing that handkerchief up with the lock and just like whacking you in the nuts, and it's just like that's even worse, man. That's like worse than a kick to the nuts.
Well, you always want to come back. There's the first initial stroke when you do the first, which they don't expect. And then when you come back with the reverse, they definitely don't expect that one. And then you do a big roundhouse underloop to the nuts. Ooh. And it's over.
Yeah.
And it all happens within a second. And you don't even know what happened because you're like, did I just get hit with a handkerchief?
I was miming out all those actions while you were doing that, like pulling up my Bruce Lee.
Especially if you do it with a matter-of-fact facial and body language, as if you aren't looking to bite or take the bait on getting in a fight.
Well, what if you did this? What if you took 2 handkerchiefs, tied them together with 2 locks on each side, and then made it like some nunchucks out of that?
You could do that. See, now you just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
However, if I saw you pull out 2 handkerchiefs, then I might be suspect that, wait a minute.
I mean, it'd be like, or it'd be like, is this guy doing a magic trick right now in the middle of our fight?
I have to hold up. I think we're going to see some magic before we throw hands. Hold up. I think there's going to be something really cool go down before this dance happens.
Oh, shit. What the fuck just happened? I just got knocked out. Whoa, oh, fuck. Ah. Okay, no magic. Never mind. Fuck. I just got hit in the nuts. See, like, that'd be pretty fun, actually.
Yeah. But it's...
Well, fun for the giver, not for the receiver.
Yeah, I was going to say. If you're on the receiving side of that, you would just want to go home. Yeah.
Or to the hospital.
Literally. You just... Hey, can somebody just take me home right now? Because I don't know what happened. I'm not feeling so good right now. Where'd all this blood come from? Is that me bleeding? The first thing you say, like, you see blood, you like, am I bleeding? You know that's not a good sign when you asking if you're bleeding when you feel your head throbbing.
Yeah, where'd this blood come from? Fuck, bro. You got a bloody nose out of nowhere? Shit.
Like, whose teeth are those?
You just whipped me with a handkerchief, dude. How did you get a bloody nose?
Whose teeth are those on the floor?
Those are... Damn it.
might want to set a dentist appointment tomorrow.
You know, I learned a nifty little trick from watching this movie. If your teeth ever get knocked out, put it in milk and it'll preserve your teeth.
Oh, really? So they can put it back in your face?
I think so. At least that was the trick in this movie that I watched. I don't know if this is a real thing, but it sounds plausible. You know, like calcium keeps your teeth alive.
Right.
Yeah, just soak it in a container.
It does sound like that does make sense, you know?
Like in the movie, this girl, she got into a car accident and she managed to escape from the car, and she crawled out and she spit out her teeth and she walked to the nearest gas station. She bought a gallon of milk, drank half the milk, and then threw her teeth in the bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That is interesting.
I never thought of that before.
I never would have thought of that in a million years. I would have to go watch a movie even to get an idea to do that.
Again, this is a movie idea. I don't know if this is realistic in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, well, that's like, you know, in a movie where you get knifed, you get shot, and you still stand up and you fight like 12 guys for another 20 minutes.
Oh, you mean my movie? The one that I just made? Yeah, that's very much.
Okay, you suspended some disbelief right there, a little bit.
I mean, we got to do it with some broken ribs, and it comes to like this crazy fight right afterwards. Like, how the fuck? What the? I thought this guy just broke his ribs and he broke out of the hospital. How the fuck is he doing half of that?
Exactly. And if you ever had broken ribs, it's hard to even breathe, let alone try to fight. You're in so much pain.
It's a movie, man. Suspension of disbelief, you know.
I feel you, my brother. Well, I'm looking forward to working on some projects with you. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
I agree, dude.
You know, we should think about doing a buddy film because we got a good chemistry. I think we could do a really good buddy film that would be very funny.
I am so down. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get writing. We'll create some writing sessions here at the studio, and we'll invite a bunch of people to come over and start writing.
Beautiful.
And then you know, and then you and I can work on our buddy film, and everybody else can work on whatever they need to work on.
Yeah, man. I've got another couple of projects I'm working on too. Dude, it's like just projects galore. So I love it, man. Just working. I love it.
Well, being in a place where you can pull the trigger on shooting something immediately definitely helps motivate you to write. Because now it's like, oh, snap, I got 4K cameras, lights, mics, Zeppelins. Whatever I put to paper, I actually could put in a can. So, you know, there's really good incentive there.
Oh, totally. And being in a studio, just making it happen, it just feels like the right place to be to make it happen.
Well, thanks for stopping by Podbrother Nation, my man.
Of course, dude.
Where can we find you on the World Wide Web?
Yeah, well, I am on Instagram, Sumeet Dang. I am on Clubhouse by the same name, Sumeet Dang. I am on Facebook, and I do not have a website as of right now, but I'm starting to realize that maybe I should.
You should. That's my tip to everybody in the industry. They should have a website and a domain name of their stage name, whatever that is. You should have a domain name of that and a landing page of that.
100%. Yeah, I'm learning more and more that it actually is valuable to do that. So, especially as I step into being more than just an actor, because previously I have my casting sites, and those are my actor web pages, my landing pages. But now I'm stepping into doing more. So, as an overall creative, I think it'd serve me. So, I'll jump on that.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, brother.
Cool, my brother.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna end this right now. Thank you guys for taking us for a test ride on this test podcast with Sumeet Dang from Clubhouse. What's the name of your movie again?
It's called Unmasked.
Unmasked.
And we will be launching a crowdfunding campaign pretty soon for some finishing funds for it, and we've got some really, really dope prizes. So be on the lookout and on my Instagram.
So I'll have you back when you do your crowdfunding, and
appreciate that, brother.
We can help push you out there.
That'd be amazing. I appreciate you, man.
Awesome.
All
right. Well, I'm the Podbrother, and I am podbrother.com if you want to find out what's going on with me and my intellectual properties. And if you want to see everything that we do here on Podbrother Nation, you're going to go to podbrothernation.com, and then stay tuned because we're about to launch series that's just going to be off the chain. So keep your eyes open for HollywoodDrive-In-Film-Festival.com. That's where everything cool that comes out of the stadium will be on those drive-in movie screeners. And we're going to do an international call for films as well. And we're even going to have festivals submit some of their best of the best we can put on our screens as well. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you around the corner. Sumeet, it was a pleasure having you, my man.
Pleasure being here. And I got one more plug, actually. I've got a podcast, Friends of the Devil podcast. Check us out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks,
There
bro.
it is. Yeah. You got it, my brother.
Peace out.